Howdy, J-Paws, and howdy from Rowdy. Howdy, everyone. Okay. Are you stalking me, New Insight? I see you all over. Or maybe I'm stalking you. We'll get you a wrench, J-Pals. Hey, great minds think alike. This is a typhoon that just, the storm surge just went so far inland. Look at that storm surge. All right, howdy folks, welcome back. I told you I would be back. Okay, let's get her started here. All right, we got it freeze framed right here on this frame for a second, and while we're kind of getting adjusted here and taking a second to thank all of you for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. Okay, and some of you understand how precious it is. Okay, here we have our flow coming out, and you can see this very violent change in direction right here. Here is our circular big object. It'll be right there, kind of going out of the frame, and here's the flow coming out, hitting it, bending, and going around it. And we'll back up a couple frames here. And just a sec. First, let's start off. This is May 28th, 2024. All right. And we'll go ahead and just start this loop and let it play there for a few loops and let your trained eye kind of see what's going on in there. And we got, well, some of these bigger objects, the last time there was like 3 of them. So this seems to be the second one. And what I mean by second one is it's like a central object with rotating, with satellites rotating around it. Moons, planets, whatever you want to call them, satellites that orbit a main central bigger object, okay? And here's an outer moon. All right, first we're going to go through this frame by frame here. Catch this opening frame. All right. Okay, opening frame one more time. May 28th, 2024. Opening frame 024. You can see we got little objects already kind of passing through, all right? These would be like the outer moons. There also seems to be something already leaving the scene here. A little hit and run, leaving the scene. And then you can clearly see this object moving out, okay? Nice and clear right there. Got some little streak, or, well, a little streak of plasma behind it there. As this other one comes out to kind of catch up to it. Now, we have this one right here. Let me back up a little bit. I want right there. Okay, beautiful example here of our object with its little magnetic field and the bow shock that it creates, okay? This plasma is streaking past it faster than it's moving out, so it has a bow shock on the back side of it. And we'll kind of back out of that again. Right there. All right, so either one of the outer moons or outer satellites of this next object, or trailing moon of the first one. This one I think probably kind of goes with this next one because it comes out of the same region and it's much closer to our bigger object right here. At this point right here, you can see here is our circular object. Here's the plasma coming out, hitting it and creating the damage ring that goes around as it kind of spreads around it. There's a good shot of it right there. You can kind of see in white the rest of the sphere right here. So it would be right about there. You can see the plasma reaching out in like a cone type conduit, cone shaped type conduit latched onto it. And then it stretches out that plasma. And you can see the other moons that are with it. This one right here caught up right in the flow. All right, so it's caught in the flow. Here's a secondary one, another one over here, something down there. So there's a bunch of little satellites orbiting this one. And look over here. You can clearly see this one wrapped in plasma. You can see it over here. It's causing the instrument to react, okay? So, and then here also, you can see our bigger object with the plasma reaching down, hitting the surface and spreading out. And then another trailing little moon or satellite or whatever going along with it. I'll go ahead and start that loop again, pull it over. Maybe if we go just a tad bit slower. Hopefully you can see it there. It should be pretty obvious here once we slow it down a little bit like that. And you can see the big wide spread. Okay, now this one didn't cause an next flare or anything like that, but look at how huge that eruption is. Another big CME with a ton of plasma being ripped off the sun right there. Look at all this right here. Okay, I want you to note something else when we, once it comes back around. Right. There. Okay, opening frame again. Note our spire region. It's all bright with the little needles pointing out. They act like compass needles. They point at the inbound magnetic field. It's already tugging on the sun and tugging these spires off the sun. That's why they stick out the way they do. They're like compass needles pointing at an inbound magnetic field, or even one once it kind of passes. So it's pointing in that region. Here, I'm just going to play it and watch once it's gone how that whole spire area is now gone. So here we are at the beginning. It's pointing at it. It's starting to absorb it right as the object passes right there. There was something else in there too. Wow. Also, we might even try speeding this one up. Sometimes our activities captured at different speeds there. Ooh. Yeah, you can see something more down here. What was this? Right there. Boom. It's the motion that our eyes detect. There's a little arc right here. Here's an object. It's probably its little magnetic field there. Yeah, that's what was it. Boom. And you see the teardrop shape effect as it kind of stretches the plasma out. I almost want to use the term spaghettify, where it stretches it out like a rubber band until it snaps. Okay, so there's our second one right there, our second big one. And you can name it whatever you want to name it. It's got all kinds of moons. There's all kinds of names. It could be planet XYZ, PDQ, RST, whatever you want to name them, but there's more than one. Some of it that looks like it's going back in. What I think is going on there, you see this stuff that's coming in, right? Going against the flow, right? Right in there, there's one. I believe what we're seeing is an object approaching from the other side or from a different angle. It's not going into the sun, it's approaching the sun and then hits a magnetic barrier. Magnets also repel each other too. So these things get right up close, but then repel each other and ricochet off at different angles. Okay, so you'll see something come in here, but then it'll ricochet and come out over here. So it doesn't like bounce off and come out the same angle. But I believe what we're seeing when we see some of this flow going in there, because it's going against the grain, and they appear to be round and spherical. They could be approaching from a different angle, and gotta remember space is 3-dimensional, and we're looking at it on a 2-dimensional screen. So you kind of gotta open your third eye a little bit, unlock that part in your brain that I've kind of unlocked for you so you can see 3-dimensionally. Okay. And you can tell by the flow. What I really look for are the flow asymmetries, the different configurations and stuff, because sometimes the object's hidden. It's got so much plasma covering it that you don't see it. But it's the flow, the shapes, these, where is it, right? Here, right here. This classic coming out and then turning and going over something round. We have these planter, they're little water balls that water your plants. It's a glass ball with a glass stem that goes down. think you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen them in the garden center. It's like a glass ball with a glass stem. You fill it with water, you turn it upside down, you jam the stem in the dirt, and it waters your plants for a couple of days. This would be the stem. In fact, I got one around. But anyways, this would be almost like the stem structure, and then there's the ball right there. And you can see plasma kind of hiding some of it, all right? These objects are dark. They bend and absorb light. They don't reflect light, so you don't see them only when they're draped with plasma, all right? And this perfect conical shape right here, and then the spreading out around something circular is a dead giveaway. All right, these are the shapes that I look for. How's the CME going to come out and turn really hard and go like this without there being something there? There's a magnetic field from this object that's inducing the CME. The Earth or the sun isn't just burping out these flares. It's because there's other objects, magnetic field interacting with our sun. Okay, and that's another one of the big ones right there. And we saw a big one yesterday, and I was saying they usually come in threes, so this would be the second one, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a third big object in the next 24 hours or so. Okay, it might sneak by at a different angle and we might not get it, or it might come right by and produce a big one. So it was that third one that was the blast that I showed you last night on September 10th of 2017. It was the third object, the third big one with the Nibiru type looking object with it. That was the big one, or was the one that caused the, it was the one I showed you. Now, let's move on here over to our solar ham here, and we'll get some wrenches going after this show. Once I can get into the comment section and stuff, I can access your account and put a wrench on you guys. Some of that are missing there. All right, back to business here. You can see our day right here. It was a pretty bumpy day. All right, all in all, let me just zoom in a little bit more for you here. And there's the other chart that gets a little more detailed and stuff, but I like this one because it's just a little more simple. And you guys, I'm not trying to say you're layman, but I would rather do it this way and keep it in layman's terms so it's easier to grasp and understand. Okay, and this one helps a little bit more visually. So you can see our day. Boom, this box right here. It says yesterday, but that was today. We're already creeping into a new day. Uh-oh. We'll see that in a minute. Anyways, our bumpy day, okay? You saw the big object. You saw all the moons and stuff. This is the first one, but this time, whatever angle it came at did not cause an X flare. That was a big flare. So we'll see what it was, but it didn't cause anything major. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, what I want to do is zoom on back. I want you guys to sit on back. There you go. All right. Our solar indices are kind of fluctuating. It was up a little higher earlier. It's a little bit down now, but it's back up again a little bit. So we're hovering at 166 right now. So it is going up and down. It's slowly creeping back up. We're getting back into the yellow again. All right. So currently we're at M1. That's no big deal. But our solar indices are fluctuating and slowly rising. Okay. And that's because we got all these new sunspots, these two major ones that are coming around. X flare potential, 30%. All right. You remember last time when this shit happened? Pardon my French. Last time when this happened, we were looking at X flare potential of 75%. Don't be surprised if we see this go along those lines again. We're already hovering at 30. Okay. We didn't have anything major today, thankfully. There's something going on right now. But Proton event 10%, M flare 60. There's still this X 2.9 from yesterday. Old 64 is now 3697. Okay, so get used to hearing the number 97 and number 91 as well. 91 still the beta gamma delta, while we got 97 beta gamma. It'll probably get that delta configuration pretty soon too, and then we'll have these two tangoing again. I pray I'm wrong, but we saw what happened last time. So let's just be mature about this and realistic too. It's not sugarcoat it and go, oh, there's nothing to fear. Hey, pay attention. This is costing people's lives, so it's important that we pay attention. All right, back to business. The KP, I love this. It's hardly anything right now, all right? It's nice and low. We don't need to be taking on any more energy. We took on some right here. It's not much. It's just this small little hump. It only got to 3 and declined. Then small little hump up to 2.5, but it's still something. Okay, it's not much, but it's still something. And every little bit counts right now, because it could be something as small as a KP3 that could push a KP3 that could push us into, the core grinding again. Okay, let's back out of this, check our auroras. Our auroras are nice and faint and nice and dim right now. That's good news. I love that. Okay, you understand that this energy from the sun hits our magnetic field. The magnetic field is shaped like a big donut, right? All the way around the Earth. Well, all the lips of the donut lip around and come around to the poles. And that's where we see our auroras. This is where our energy gets transferred to, it collects all along here, gets shoved up to this part of the magnetic field. That's where it gets sent to the poles. The poles transfer it down into the core. The Earth is a capacitor. If you don't know anything about electronics, a capacitor is just like a battery, okay? This has a positive and a negative, and you can charge it up just like a battery, okay? And when we are overcharged, any little bit like that can kind of throw you over. But right now we're doing fine. It's nice and mellow right now. All right. Now, we will go back to the tracker here in a sec. Actually, let's go ahead and do the tracker real quick. Now, we had this blast today. I want to see which direction that one's going off. Okay, see, it's going off the backside. When we're looking at it, it appears like it's coming at us sometimes, and it can be. But the flare it reacts as the object, say, approaches. So it's approaching, bang, and then it goes by. So even though the CME is going that way, it doesn't necessarily mean our trajectory of that thing is going away from us. Just the CME from it is. And you see this right here? Maybe it hasn't passed the sun yet. It's still approaching the sun. Still approaching. Probably getting next to it. Almost parallel. Starting to pass. Finally passing it and moving away and taking the rest of that plasma with it. All right. So, even though the CME thankfully is heading that way, our object could be, it could be cruising anywhere. That's the mystery about this thing, is it's hard to tell what direction it's going. I used to be able to give you a pretty good guesstimate by doing stereo A's angle, but stereo A is no longer. We used to have A and B that were on the backside of the sun. B went down, so they started rotating A all the way around to here. And when it was over here, we still had this angle right here I could use in a math formula to tell you the trajectory of our object. But since they've moved stereo A over here, it basically has the same view that SOHO does. So I can't take measurements and angles and throw them in my equation and find out our trajectory. So I know why they had to move it too, to protect it. So, and it's getting old, but it sure was nice when it was over here, because I could take the event from stereo A and measure the angle it came off the sun from stereo A. Then I could take the SOHO and measure the angle it came off the SOHO, throw those two measurements into my math equation, and I could tell you exactly where it was going. But now we can't do that anymore. Thanks, NASA. I think they did that on purpose. They don't want the public tracking that thing, dude. All right. Back to this article now. Here we are, May 29th. A comparison of AR 3664 on May 13th as it approached the southwest limb, and on May 29th as it returns into view off the southeast limb. So that's what it looked like when it left. Here, this is what it looked like when it's coming back around and approaching us again. Okay, the region produced numerous mid to upper level C flares and one low level M flare during the past 24 hours. Okay, so it's being kind of quiet right now. That's good. Returning sunspot region 64 was reassigned AR 3697, and it's currently producing a steady dose of minor C flares as it turns back into view. The latest NOAA updates list a 60% chance of moderate M flares and a 30% chance for a stronger X flare. Okay, 30% chance, stronger X flare. Everybody pray, okay? 91 is the northeast quadrant of the core, and of course, 97 would be the most likely sources. Okay. So is old region 64 still active? Of course it is. An X 2.9 was observed around the region before it even crested the limb. So, Okay, let's get on over to our other article here. There's one other thing I want to point out here. All right, you guys are awesome. You're over there tearing it up, you guys. I love it. All right. Noctilucent cloud season, northern sky watchers. It's time to start looking for noctilucent clouds, or NLCs. The NOAA 21 satellite detected the first NLC of the 2024 summer season on May 26th. At the moment, the clouds are still inside the Arctic Circle, but they should start to spread to lower latitudes in the days ahead. So you might see glowing clouds at night, but they're not auroras, they're noctilucent clouds, okay? The return of the historic sunspot, it's back. 64, the source of the historic May 10th superstorm, has spent the past 2 weeks transiting the far side of the sun. Yesterday, it announced its return with a X 2.9 now solar or class solar flare. Amateur astronomer Michael Caron was watching the sun when the explosion occurred. He captured this picture of flying debris. Look at all that plasma shooting off there. Now, I think what they did is they took the sun, they rotated it. It's not coming off the top. They just rotated the picture 90 degrees or something. Now he says, I have not seen an explosion like this in my 40 years of observing the sun. So fast, so far out into space. It was gigantic. The explosion caused a deep shortwave radio blackout over East Asia and hurled a bright CME into space. Yeah, we saw that. Now, this is where we're getting pretty cool now. We're getting into helioseismology, okay? And this is basically seismology like we use on our Earth to detect earthquakes. We use seismology on the sun to detect, well, sun quakes, but more the vibrations around the sunspot. Okay, so they're able to track the backside of the sun through helioseismology. Okay, now how do we know the flare came from 64? Helioseismology. The giant sunspot is affecting the way the sun vibrates, and its seismic echoes are visible in maps of the sun's far side. Okay, so now we don't need like stereo A looking at the backside here. We'll even pop this open. Helioseismology. Okay, all you're doing is basically you're studying the vibrations on the sun. The vibrations emanate from a certain area. Well, that's your epicenter, like an earthquake epicenter, right? So when you got a place that's still vibrating on the backside of the sun, setting out all these kind of vibrations, you know that it's like a sunquake almost on the backside. So when these spots go around the back, this computer can kind of generate an image of through helioseismology of what's kind of going on back there. It's probably AI, models slammed together with some algorithms and stuff like that as well. But they use the helioseismology to kind of map the backside as it goes around. And we also have the camera on Mars right now, the rover camera, and it's not the best, but at the time, Mars is on the backside of the sun, so we can see the backside of the sun from the rover on Mars as well. But interesting how technology now, we can study the earthquakes or the sunquakes, the minor disruptions, the frequency changes and vibrations, the seismic echoes, and make maps out of them now. Okay. And this map shows that AR-64 is just behind the southern east limb of the sun, a good match for the location of yesterday's X-flare. Of course, we know it was. It was a perfect match. But a new way of kind of monitoring the backside of the sun that's very interesting, and it's cool to do it. All right, now, do you see what I see? Yes, we had some more pressure buildup. We had another grinding event. This one kind of tapered off. You can see it kind of tapered off. It wasn't a sudden just stoppage, but we released pressure pretty well, pretty quickly, and it tapered off pretty fast. Had a small little pop, and then started to go normal again. But right now we're grinding again. And what I need to do is go ahead and refresh this and get, all right, that's all our data right there. Okay, so you can see we're having a small grinding event. It's not very major like this one was, okay? Now, we haven't had a lot of inbound energy being absorbed by the planet. So how is this still happening? Well, when we get these objects that go by, okay, even though the CME doesn't come our way, the thing still goes by us, okay? And say if it passes, I don't know, 25,000 miles away from us still or whatever, the radiant heat from it can be absorbed. Radiation is also in the form of heat as well. So the whatever plasma is, still lingering around it has heated the surface of this. As this invisible object passes by, our planet, we could get a little heat wave off of it, that a radiation wave off of it that would not be a CME. Okay, and you wouldn't see it, but it would react this way. It would cause our core and our shell to grind again. All right, because something's causing it. And it wasn't a CME this time, but when that object that passed yesterday could be our culprit. We got something doing it, okay? Now we're going into another event, so you guys probably had a little, some pain, or I don't know, confusion, dizziness, whatever. However this affects people differently. I know that my body's shattered, so I got lots of pins and needles, or not pins and plates and all kinds of metal in my body. So when storms hit, I feel it. It hurts. And here we go again. It's not a very intense one, but pressure is on. Okay? The pressure got really good, really intense there. Then it relieved pretty quickly, tapered, in a tapered fashion, but it was a quick taper, kind of like this one over here. All right, so it was a quick taper, but a quick stab right after, and then back to grinding again. So we have some pressure building up down below. Now let's get on over here to our, watch this. Let's take off the wind. Do you see the eyes and the eyebrows? Does it look like a frog type spirit? I don't know. It's pretty weird looking though. Okay, so now we're going to come over here to our, let me just scoot this over just a bit better. All right, there we go. Over to our upper jet stream now. Okay, we've had some changes again, and, oh, what happened? Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, come on. Let it adjust there. Something changed just since I looked at this a minute ago. Let's go back 1 hour. About 2? No, right there. Look at this, you guys. All right, let me take away the winds first. Okay, you can see our fetch coming in, turning, going up like that, and coming back down. And I'm going to put the winds back on. You see our little blue areas right here? Let's just kind of go in and see if you guys notice anything in our flow asymmetries right there. See anything kind of, I don't know, spherical right here, causing this diversionary flow, like a rock in a river. It diverts the flow and it goes around, it goes over it as well. The rock isn't sticking out above the water. It's underneath, very close to sticking out. And then look down here. So our flow just got changed and disrupted by 1, 2, 3 of them. And look at it. The colors even match the dang spots. This couldn't be more blatantly obvious, but I guess people are just too afraid to believe or in denial. I don't know how to, well, it's denial. I've dealt with a lot of denial cases, especially my mental health mental health therapist. They had some denial issues and they thought it was me. Okay, that's good enough. I'm trying to get some of the wavy lines out of there. So here we are. This is your upper jet stream. We have our spheroid type object effect going on. Now it's diverting this flow and fanning it out. Let me take off that wind. Look how it's kind of fanned it out across the whole area. Instead of this slamming in with one little stream right here, one skinny, this has like fanned it all out. So that's your upper jet stream. I'll put the wind back on. Okay, put it right there. Now let's go down in elevation to our lower jet stream. You can see a correlation. We saw this flow off the Pacific Northwest going up into Canada and then dropping down underneath the Great Lakes. Get down to where our weather is. Okay, now we had that fetch coming down and we still have moist, warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf way up here to the Hudson Bay. Do you see that? And then it hooks a U-turn and comes all the way back down and hits the Appalachian Mountains right there. So our configurations change, well, pretty drastically day to day, and I believe we've got our culprits. I think we found our culprit here as to why things aren't behaving like they normally do, our weather, and this could have a very big effect. These three well placed like this, see how it took all that and spread it out now? This could have been a really tight band right through here, but these things have taken all this energy and fanned it out. It shoved a bunch of it back down into the Gulf. So even though at the surface you still see it creeping up like that, it could be a lot worse if it wasn't fanned out like that. Amazing what's going on here. Truly amazing. Yeah. And then here we are down closer to the surface. It looks like we might have something, I don't know. It's running into something and just going all the way around. We'll have to see if there's some kind of storm or something right in that region. Doesn't look like it. But you can see how these things, just one, it doesn't even have to be convecting anything. Just one well placed can change patterns drastically. Okay, so there's our weather kind of set up. Let's look around here. Very powerful storm kind of brewing here. We had this typhoon here. I think this is the one that hit Bangladesh. Or about to hit this region right here. And when we get a tight vortex like this, watch this. I bet you it goes all the way up to, we'll pull this over here. I want to see if it goes all the way up to the, all right, it's in the lower jet stream. It's part of the upper jet stream. I wonder if it even goes to space. Nope. Nope, it's not in the mid layer, but right there. Something in the upper jet right there is causing that major kink right there. And that major kink in that upper jet right there is causing some kind of, well, the storm could be so powerful that it's causing this kink in the upper jet stream too. Could be vice versa. There might be something, well, we would see it at the upper levels. So this is storm induced, I believe, but sometimes we see vortexes like this are induced by our passing object. One of these objects coming by could latch on and just all of a sudden create a vortex where there wasn't one before, take another one and diminish it and then build another one right next to it. And the next thing you know, you got these two eyes and eyebrows and a mouth looking at you. Is that you, Surfer Girl? Is that you on the screen right there? Pink eyebrows? No, I'm joking. But pretty crazy faces that we see. And it's no coincidence. If you guys understood that everything that you're going through is a spiritual, there are no coincidences. Nope. Nope. No coincidences. Frog-like spirit, and that thing looks like a frog. Isn't it kind of like a frog type spirit? You can even see its little nose holes right here. Are you looking at me? And it's got the psychedelic spinning eyes effect, hypnotize you. All right, so let's get back to business now. So that was our weather. I want to also come on over to our SO2. Sulfur dioxide is the gas that surrounds the magma down below. And when the magma starts to push up to the underside of the crust and it can't get out through the perforations, well, the gas is much lighter and easier to go through the sand and the cracks and the dirt and stuff, and it comes out through the perforations first. So we'll have all this gas exhalation first, and then someday they'll run out of gas down there and lava will start coming up through those little perforations if the pressure gets that high. Okay. Meantime, we have a country divided, bleeding out on one side. It's kind of patchy on the other. Left little vortex going up there. All right, so a lot of the flooding has rescinded now, and we're starting to see our SO2 coming out of that region now, out of the pores in the ground. Okay, and still our pressure is pretty good right now. You saw the Schumann. Here, let's look up here. Oh, you know what we could do real quick while we're here? Come over to Bio. There's fires. And you click on a fire icon. And, whoa, what do you know? Look at that. Fires at our SO2 emission sites. This gas comes from down below. It surrounds the magma. It's very hot. And when this gas emits from the ground, it can be so hot, it could cause things to spontaneously combust. One of the things it'll do is it will start trees on fire from their root structure in the dirt. And the tree will burn from the inside out. And then it will also burn the stump and the root structure in the dirt. How is that possible? Have you ever seen a forest fire, a normal forest fire, where the stump is gone and there are black burned out tubes in the dirt where the root structure used to be? Explain that. How did that burn like that? Well, it's because it caught on fire from underground, and it burned slowly from the root structure all the way up to the top of the tree. And there have been several cases now where people are like, hey, the tree's burning from the inside out. How is that happening? Well, if you've ever seen a root structure, it's very conical and cone-shaped too. It would funnel a lot of that heat right to the center of the trunk, to the very middle of the stem of the tree, the trunk of the tree, and start the tree on fire from the inside out. And we have these fires up here in Canada that we had last season were all caused by this. And everybody says, oh, it's a DEW weapon. They're using the directed energy weapons to start fires. Well, hey, they love it when you say that stuff. They will let you believe that all day long. They're fine with you thinking that they have weapons that can do that. Oh, that'll put the fear of God into you. But the one thing they do not want you to know is that it's actually being started from underground, and that there is nothing they can do about it. They have absolutely no control over it whatsoever. And like most people, they can't admit they have no control. And they will never tell you. Here we are over at Oahu, still spewing out a lot of SO2 here. When our pressure gets high, this gets a pretty healthy dark plume as well. We're seeing plumes come out of Hawaii and Maui as well. At first, it used to just be this one island, but now it's starting to spread to this island. Remember, we're seeing pressure and microquaking here at Hawaii. Well, we're not seeing a volcanic eruption. It's plugged up or something. So when it's plugged up and pressure builds up, we have the spot quaking and gas emission. Okay. Now, let's kind of tour around a little bit. And any requests for where you want to see in the world while we're kind of going through this? I'm going to back them up to their data. Go. All right, so a lot of pressure here in China, a lot of the dark spots. This one's a very large, dark black spot. And they're having fires as well from this activity as well. So, oh yes, let's go over to Italy. It'd probably be better if we just kind of zoomed out this way. All right, now check it out. Doesn't look too bad. We got a few little sites right here that emit SO2. Mainly a lot of it's off the coast here in the water. Now this is Huh. Let me just put the wind on there real quick. No. Air current's at 850 in that region. Oh. I believe that's being all pulled offshore. And it's just being pocketed here because this is colliding with this. It would create a little eddy or a dull zone right there. And it's concentrated off the coast right there. It's not really emitting from the water. A site that would be emitting from the water would look more like, well, I have to look around for one for a second, but get this off of there. And that off of there. Okay. So let's back out a little bit. So yeah, it's good. We should come over here and look at Italy. They got a little spotting and stuff. But look at Europe. It's all over the place. Look at Russia. It's just boom, 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 boom. All these little spots. Saudi Arabia's got some intense areas right in there and there. Even some down here in Africa. Those are probably campfires because the people down there are not as advanced as we are, and they use fire to cook their food a lot. So sometimes that'll be a false reading. Sometimes you look at it. Same here in Mexico. We see a lot of this, but they're different. The yellow ones, here, see the yellow dots compared to the red ones? Our yellow dots are the hot spots, where the red are more like your regular little barbecue fires, pit fires, people barbecue or, cooking their stuff out in the open or for heat. Okay, so let's get back now. I need the fires out of there now. None. And let's get on over to the SST and go back. Wait. We were pretty good there. All right, here we are. Still 5:27, 5 local time. All right, I'm trying to get as close as we can here. All right, well, that's the dang. That's the last little bit of data I guess we can get right there. Is the latest is from the 27th, okay? We're already kind of getting into the 29th, so this is like a day behind, but I just got to come check this area real quick. Take a peek over here. Our spot there is still relieving a bunch. Okay, this pressure, this is a lot of these yellows are volcanic activity happening on the ocean floor. Okay, you got a vent open and it's superheating the water in the region. Okay. Same with out here. This is Tamumasi, the biggest volcano on the planet right there. And it was the spot that started growing, turning red, then orange, then yellow. Then we had a little spot out here that started to turn red, and then orange, and then yellow. And now we had a yellow patch and a yellow patch. Now they've kind of blended together, and now we have one big, huge patch of hot water that's being induced by volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Okay, let's come over and look at our relief valve here at Taiwan. All right. This area used to be surrounded by yellow as well until we had our big quake and the swarming, and it kind of opened the valve right there at the fulcrum point. And ever since, we've been having regular earthquake activity there, keeping pressure at a certain range. within, not overboard. And when that happened, we get cold water inundation like this. There was some up at the tip, but that's kind of, dissipated a little bit. But we still have cold water around here. It's not yellow like some of these other areas here. All right, so this region, whoops, our fulcrum point is kind of doing its job right here and being the relief valve. Our other fulcrum point down here, or relief valve, is Java. Okay, multiple volcanoes, the boundary plate right there. We're having earthquake and volcanic activity in this region. And out of all the tropics, we got cold water inundation here. Okay, because there's less pressure in that region. The pressure that can't get out is now coming out of other little spots, the path of least resistance on the ocean floor. Okay, you see hot spots starting to grow, starting to form. We have this spot down here at the tip of Africa. All right, this is some of the coldest water in the world. Antarctica's right here. This is all ice too. You got to be kidding me, right? We got super hot water here. All right, and it's because of the activity on the ocean floor. Okay, hot water and cold water, they don't like to mingle. They will create a boundary and they'll separate. And when they separate, they create, little currents. And check out how these currents go from hot to cold to hot to cold to hot to cold to hot to cold to hot. So it's not hot water from this region that's traveling down and keeps moving, and it's the same hot water out of one spot that's just traveling down. No, clearly these are all individual hot spots that have created their own individual cold spot in reaction, in that separation effect. The separation effect causes currents and vortexes. And look at all the vortexes and currents we got from cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. All right, so hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. You better be hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. All right, let's move on to our earthquakes now. Get over here. Okay, very different activity today. Let's get in here. All right, our deep quake region that we always start off with, because a lot of our activity originates right here and then travels up through the system and stuff. We're not getting what's going on here. Okay, I guess we're bright enough. Maybe it's just my camera or something. All right, good enough. Let's get into it. All right, so our deep quakes for the day were right here. We had a 5.0 down at 499, and there was another one. Where'd it go? Come back here, you. Right there is our other one. Note the date here, 5/27 still. Wait, it's not it. Okay, let's try this again. Could have swore there was two deep fives right here. There's one, a 5.0 down at 499. There's a 4.9 down at 164. A 4.5 down at 261, 4.6 down at 304, and this 5.0 down at 10. There was another 5 here. We can do that. No. Where'd it go? What? Oh, I guess it is this one. Yeah, it is this one. So it's this one right here, We had a 5.0 down at 499, and then another 5.0 right here at 577. So we had two deep quakes. Let me get this out of there. Actually, we can take that back down. We had this one and this one were our two deep quakes for the day. And that second one got kicked off the map because there was over a day old now. So we had these two fives right here that were deep. All right. Then we have these semi-deep. There's a 5 right there. Semi-deep, mid-range 4, semi-deep, mid-range 4. Here's your 5 at the surface, being energy being, already going into this little system. The entrance cracking out a 5 right there. So that's good. That's energy being relieved at the surface because of this deep activity there today. Coming up here, we have a 4.8 down at 90, a 4.4 at 59, and a deeper one, a 4.8 at 114 there. Nothing off of Java today. Volcanic activity relieving pressure there. We also have volcanic activity on Sumatra here as well. But we have this boundary quake here. Actually, it doesn't look like it's on the boundary. 5.9. What do we do with 0.9s here? This is not a boundary quake either. It's on this island. Little underwater seamount right here, just breaking the surface right there. You can see there's another one forming right here, and that's where our quake is. It's at 18.1. That's that might be an indicator of this little thing getting busy underneath that region right there. It's a 6 right there, you guys. Every time they put a 0.9, I know why they do it. Dutch has explained that too, and I agree with him. If you have more 4.9s, and then that means less 5s at the year-end total, when you say, oh, there was only 25 magnitude 5 or greater, well, no, there was 75, but 50 of them, you cut them back so you didn't have to report them that way. Because those kind of numbers would rattle you, and they want to rattle you in a different way. Not that way. They got different ways that they want you scared of different things. 4.6 down at 113. You shouldn't be scared. It's called respect for Mother Nature. All right, here we go. Fulcrum point. 3.9 down at 33. And even though this is not directly at the very fulcrum, it's dang close, and it's on the back side of this little ridge right here. Okay, it's a little underwater mountain right there. There's a little valley, a little pit right here, and another little mountain here. So it goes up, little pit area, and then goes back down. This is the backside of this fulcrum point. That's still a fulcrum point quake. It's just not right in the middle of it. 4.4 and what's this? 3.9, make that a 4. So a couple of 4s, 4 and a mid-range 4, relieving pressure in that area. Coming over here. 4.4 again. This is down at 56. It's a little bit deeper, but not a super deep quake. Here we are right off the coast of Japan. 4.4 down at 47. We have underwater volcanic activity in this region probably. It's, see these little seamounts right in there? A couple of them up here. And there is a bend right here. It's not the best fulcrum point in the world, but what's right at the apex of it? What is right at the apex of this bend, which would be a fulcrum point? If this was a log and there was a kid standing on this side of the wooden board and a kid standing on that side of the wooden board, and they were bending this over a log, it would be the fulcrum point, and we have a seamount right there. It's probably where some of our hot water's coming out of these 3 or something. Okay, but no quake in that region because we have those hot water. Well, pressure being released in that form under the ocean. Nothing in this region too, because we got 4 volcanoes there. This latest little quake, 3.7 down at 63.7 right there. We got 3.1 at our fulcrum. And what came in down here? 3.1. What do you know? I was going to say, if anything, 3.1 up here, well, anything that makes it over will be 3.1 or less. And what do we have right here is our 3.1. Just inside our fulcrum point. This may not be it. Come here, you. What is this feature? Any volcanic feature? No. This may be it. If there's no volcanic feature right there. Oops. You see how this plate comes in and bends? You see how this mountain comes in and bends, right? That's the fulcrum point. You know, we got 3-way coming in, then it bends. So 3 coming in, it bends. That's kind of your fulcrum point right there, just inland, further inland than the plate boundary. As we back out, though, in the grand scheme, in the bigger picture, you can see zigzag down, then come right in. That's it right there. And it matches the magnitude. Down here in Texas, they had a little bigger 4.1 today at the surface. We know what's going on there. And just kind of wanted to see. Oh, yeah. What else was there? 2.9 and a 4.1. Man-made perforations in the crust. Not a wise thing to do, but then again, man was never all that wise in the first place. Bingo. 4.1 down at 117. 4.2 down at 201. Little pocket here in the Caribbean, but other than that, Gobi Desert real quick. 4.1 down at 13. Okay, we're done. We're done, son. The 3.1 energy came in here, apexed, came down, and bingo, landed right there. So, with this new wave of energy coming in here, okay, we're grinding again. We're going to see earthquake activity, a little jump in magnitude probably, and we already saw a 6, right? This 5.9, that's a 6, all right? So we're starting to see, these are deep quakes. The deep quakes that we see, that we're used to seeing, are mid-range 4. We have 2 5.0 deep quakes. So we saw a increase in the number and an increase in magnitude as well down deep, didn't we? And that's an indicator that, pressure's on the rise, and you will see larger quakes, not big disastrous ones, but a increase in magnitude, just like we did. We used to see in 4.5 at depth. This is 5.0. Usually we have 4.5 per day, typically, just kind of on the average. 4.5 translates to 5 energy at the surface, right? Well, when we have an increase in pressure, we have an increase in magnitude at depth, which would make the 5.0 instead of 4.5. Then we also have an increase in the number of quakes. So instead of 1 deep quake, we had 2 deep quakes, 2 of them that were both 5.0. There's your increase in pressure right there. And this is how it translates out. It's perfectly on display. If you could just see it. If you have eyes to see. What are we doing? We got to do volcano. Let's get that out of there. Let's get this one out of there. That one out of there. That one out of there. Let's go ahead and get that out of there. And that out of there. And Lord, please let this volcano page work tonight. If it be in your will. No, I just kind of go to the report. Thank you. Okay, May 29th, 2024, Fuego, Popo, Semeru, Ducono, Reventador, Sangay. Let's just get into it. Here's Luatobi, okay? 7,000 foot blast out of that today. Semeru, our good old faithful here, at 14,000. Okay, we've seen it max out at 15, so it's down to 14. Watch in the next couple of days, we'll see a blast at 15. It may even exceed its new record. We'll see though. Ducono, 10,000 feet. Popocatépetl, 19,000. Fuego, 15,000. Sangay, 20. Reventador again. Reventador, 14.5. That's no slouch either. Sabancaya, 24,000. All right, let's get into what was today. Now the 28th. No, 24th. No. Skip your hat. Thank you. Don't want to learn more. I would like to. Please, have a little help here, Lord. I just want to read the report. Oh, good. It's on it now. All right. So, Stromboli again over in Italy, you guys. Time to keep an eye on that. INGV Institute reported that about 11 local time yesterday, a lava spattering became concentrated at the newly formed Hornito in the northern crater. You see this little picture? Look at that. Right there. We got hot, fresh lava blasting out of this little horn right here, sticking out of the mountain. This isn't even the top of the mountain. This is like a little, a little weak spot on the flank, a little horn. Okay. So, hot, juvenile, and molten lava clots are being ejected to several dozens of meters above the Hornito, that in turn piling up on several meters high deposits. Furthermore, remaining hot fluid bulbs fall to the upper Scaria del Fuoco, coalescing, thereby forming the short lava flow. Coalescing, yeah, I like that. No VA at Luatobi, 14 out of Semeru, Ducono, 10 still. Ooh, currency in Sumatra. Okay, that's right across from Java there. Currency. Explosive activity continues. Estimated 19,000? So, remember we were talking just last night about new volcanoes that we haven't heard of coming online. Okay? And it came online not with like a 5,000 or 6,000 foot blast. This one at Sumatra came online May 28th with explosive activity at 19,000 feet. We have a new relief point. We have a new hole in the skin of the balloon to relieve pressure now. This currency here in Sumatra. We'll have to watch this one, especially in Sumatra, because that's where a lot of our energy is being, relief valve is Java and Sumatra. 19,000 out of this. Wow. We were just talking about that stuff last night. Popo, 19. Fuego, 15. Sangay, 20. Sabancaya, 25. All right, so some higher blasts here, and our new currency, 19,000. You know, we saw that tapering of pressure, the quick tapering off. It wasn't a sudden, all of a sudden release of pressure, but it was a very, very quick tapering. Right there. That's why. That's our new relief spot. Especially with the 19,000 foot blast. That's awesome. All right, well, we'll have to continue to watch this one. Currency. I don't think it's on this map yet. Nope. No. Up here, though, in the Kamchatka, we have Shivelush, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, and Ebiko. All right. All four of those are in red. That means currently erupting. So this region right here is, these four volcanoes vent a lot of the pressure there. That's why we're not seeing fulcrum point quakes very often there. Sakurajima and Suwanosejima here, both active, fully active. There's the Barren Island volcano. Here it is, Currency right here. Oh, we can't zoom. So yeah, it's on the map now, right there on Sumatra. We have the newer Marapi. We're used to Merapi on Java. There's a Marapi on Sumatra. Right next to it is Karina. We'll have to go find that one here in a little bit. All right, so there's your volcano activity. We're going to see with an increase in pressure, we'll continue to see, this activity go. We'll probably see some higher blasts, maybe not much higher, but we'll see a couple of blasts with higher altitudes. We just saw, like I said last night, a volcano that, an obscure one come online instead of, our regular ones that we're used to. So sure enough, our obscure one, brand new, came online, and that one concerns me. I wonder if it's close to that big crater. Where are we here? Okay. Here's Marapi right here. This snow-covered one right there. So that's our new one that came online, the Marapi one. And then I'm going to find this other one. It's probably right next to this one, or maybe up here a little bit. But as you can see, this right here is an old caldera. There's perforation in the crust with current activity right here. Let's pray that this thing doesn't have any issues, okay? There's one right here, another volcano right there. So it could be one of these two. You can see this one up here. And on the map, it was pointing in the vicinity. I'll have to go look it up when I get off here. All right. We got to continue on now. I'm pretty sure it was right next to it there. All right. Let this load up. Okay, time and date in the corner right there. Your little bar going across. We'll let that load up for a second here. Ow. Okay. And we won't go too deep into this because all this is going to change. It's so, well, blurry again. All right, cool. We'll fix that. That should be good for a second, I think. A little delay there for a second until you guys can. All right. Current conditions. The nighttime of the 28th, we still have, thunderstorms here in Texas. Nothing too bad, but this one that came down here started heading towards Corpus Christi, and had one of those little spheroid effect in it again, and I put a little warning up in the shorts earlier today. I didn't really have time to look too close at it. I just saw it kind of still blurry, huh? Dang autofocus on these things, huh? Maybe there. Sometimes the wavy lines. Using a digital camera on a digital screen, they don't like each other sometimes. So, anyways, current conditions are thunderstorm activity through here, nocturnal thunderstorm activity. There will be the morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime. So, little scattering through this region right up there at nighttime, but nothing too bad. The morning of the 30th, noon. Watch out there, down here in Texas too, okay? It's pretty much every day now we got to watch our weather. That's convection there at Kansas, Missouri. And then nighttime going back into Oklahoma, Kansas area, up here into the corner of Missouri, possibly. Anywhere in that blob, okay? It doesn't necessarily this spot or that spot. It could possibly be anywhere, especially with our new player in the game. These spheres, whatever they're doing, okay? Back up one. That was the nighttime of the 30th, going into the morning of the 31st. Noon, convection, nighttime. So most of that activity was during the daytime. Morning to the noontime was the most severe. Then it starts to actually decrease at convection and even decrease more at night. Still a little touch here, little pockets there. These discrete supercells are what's getting scary now. They're very hard to track. They pop up really quick. They can spin up really quick and then dissipate and move on. And then it's very, very sketchy right now. So the nighttime of the 31st going in the morning of the 1st. Noon, convection, nighttime. So the nighttime of the 1st, watch this line right here again. Morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Look up here in Canada, you guys. You're going to have a gnarly event up here in Canada at the nighttime, even convection here. Okay, so starting at convection, you guys are going to see severe weather, possible tornadoes up in Canada. The night of June 2nd, you could see severe weather back down in here as well, and addressing the coast over here as well. So it's the night of the 2nd, morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. More nocturnal activity here in Kansas this time, Oklahoma and Texas, up here a little bit too. The morning of the 4th, residual still, noon, convection, nighttime. Now up here with this, and down here in Arkansas, the night of the 4th. Anything after this is kind of getting out there. So morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. 7th, noon, convection, nighttime. 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. 9th, noon, convection, nighttime. 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. 12th, noon, convection, nighttime. 13th, noon, convection. And that was all she wrote. All right, so our main concern here is the next couple of days here as we go into the morning tomorrow. There's noon. And at convection, we might see stuff up here in Montana. All right, anywhere along the Rockies and these foothills right in here, possibly. Even over in this region, it doesn't show, but with our new player in the game and the weather here, it could be anywhere, anytime, basically. We're just kind of looking at what these models are suggesting. There's the night of the 29th, so convection tomorrow. Oh, up in Montana and along the foothills, you might see some. Then at nighttime, it'll scatter out to the plains a little bit tomorrow night. In the morning, watch out. The morning Still blurry? What the heck, man? So odd because my screen on my side is showing just fine. Alright. Maybe not. Oh well. We'll keep going. So our main concerns are these next 48 hours. Your nocturnal event wrapping up going into the morning tomorrow, noon, building at convection right there, and then the nighttime activity going into the morning. Then we'll see convection, or at noontime, it'll still be blossoming. There's convection right there, very intense, located right there in the middle. And then nighttime, the 30th, going into the morning of the 31st, even through the noon. All right, so that's our time frame. And then right about there, everything in between from now, well, from about noon tomorrow through convection and the nighttime into the first. Or into the 31st, sorry. All right, so there's your space weather, your geophysics, terraphysics, astrophysics, and who's ready for some metaphysics now? All right, so let's get on with it. And let's do. I'm gonna do something real quick here. Kind of. Oh, the razor's on good. Tom's cool. You go watch Tom. He's pretty fun. Where we go? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so last night I was showing you the object that showed up on September 10th, 2017, right? That's the day my life changed, all right? And, well, here we are. This is, I don't know if you can see it up top here. This is October 4th of 2017. This is 11 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. Okay, the Revelation 12 star alignment said she was pregnant. She had the moon at her feet, crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant, about to give birth. The dragon appeared in front of her to devour the child, right? Well, the dragon didn't succeed. The child was born. And it was born in my garage. Check this out. Now we're going to play this real quick here. It's actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. Right back. I captured this one, and we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now, I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God. Yep, it's a lot better there. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better now than before. Oops. We'll undo the filter real quick just so you can get the original. Now you can see the baby's head just a little bit better. You can make out his little ear. And then we'll put the filter back in again. And there we go. There's your Revelation 12 baby being born right there in my garage, caught on my security camera. So that's it for now. Howdy folks, welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter. All right, this is the next day after the baby was born in my garage. The very next day, this is October 5th of 2017. This happened. And this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Good night, Insight. Pretty good. Get some rest. And you can always watch this on replay. And her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here, God bless you, New Insight. Thanks for coming by tonight. Silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. You see this feather crossing right there? There's the angel coming out of their realm and crossing into ours. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This is coming out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even describe it. I was in crying, screaming, and praying. An experience I'd never felt before. All three of them at the same time. It was just terrible. But what happened was, all right, so there's that. Now we're going to pull up some other stuff to read to you real quick. You see what's going on here? Usually where there's the God eye, Mary, and an angel, Jesus is usually around there too. Right? Every painting where you see Mary, an angel, and God, Jesus is there too. Well, he's in this picture if you know what to look for. A good mother consoling her son who was, well, in anguish. Oh, they got rid of that one. Or is it still there? Nope, that one's not available anymore. Awesome. Thanks, YouTube. Get rid of all the good evidence there, huh? Cover the tracks. You guys are just...
To go back to school, UMGC is waiving their application fee through May 31st.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Over 125 online degrees.
Might tell us that this is...
All right. Pull up this one real quick. Theater mode. Whoops. All right. So, my face showing up next to the moon. Not just in the clouds anymore. It's showing up next to the moon now. How you gonna cover that one up? Shit in the pants right now. Wait till they see something like this. Wait till they see a big old planet with a big old face on it growling at them. That'll scare it. But in the meantime, you need to focus on your foundation. Okay? The reason why I keep showing this one over and over again is because it is the most authentic event. It cost me dearly. I suffered excruciating pain to do this, to capture these images, to hold my camera up for that long. My heart was racing. I passed out. I fell to the ground, still trying to squeeze off the last few pictures I could and keep it in the middle of the frame. It's a 2,000-year-old prophecy come true, okay? When you see wars and rumors of wars, when you see earthquakes and volcanoes, diverse places, all these signs, you're supposed to look up. Because when you look up, you'll see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. The crown signifies power and great glory. Okay? That's my face right there. In the clouds, wearing a crown, just like I showed you the other image here. Let's just pull that one up too, because we need that one as well. Very important that you guys understand this image too. Okay, because that's my face with the crown as well. Okay, so my face with a crown in the clouds, my face with a crown in the clouds. The stuff follows me everywhere I go. It happens in the clouds everywhere I go because of who I am. People in my town have no idea what goes on in the skies over their head. But I do. Oh, speaking of which, here, we got a cool capture here. Just real quick, before we get into our reading. One of the latest ones. Oh, Hopkinson captured a UFO, or Sun did, I think. We should go show her. Everybody go over to her channel and go check out what she captured. And now, what was I doing here? Oh, yeah, we're going to the community. Okay, guess who showed up in the clouds yesterday? The Cat in the Hat. Don't ask me why they're cartoon characters, but they are. There's his eyes, his nose, his mouth, and this is like a zoomed in version of it. I'm going to post one where it's further out, and you can see the mountains in the valley below. But this is just the face right here. Once we pull back a little bit, it's very defined. It's actually the Cat in the Hat wearing a black cowboy hat. It's almost like one of the characters in the cartoons is like the bad cat, or the black one that has a cowboy hat on or something. Staring at me. I go outside to work on the yard, and here's this thing. The Cat in the Hat here. Let's see if we can get all the way like this. Won't let us do that? Nope. But you can kind of see it right there. Anyways, another one of these faces in the sky that all kinds of faces watching me Every little move I make, they are watching, studying, learning, and following every move I make because of who I am. Okay, now let me pull out our reading here. A couple of good things for you guys tonight. Everybody take a couple of deep breaths and get in your spot and get all settled in and do the little ceremony thing that you do right before we start doing this, which is okay to, it's not a ceremony, but taking some deep breaths, looking at that, thinking about it for a minute, wrapping your head around what we just discussed and recorded and reported tonight, okay? Very disturbing information. It's also important that we take a mental break from all that and the world as well for your own mental health, right? Now, through all of this, through all these notes and stuff that I've been reading to you, I'm doing something. I'm doing something in the background there. I think a lot of you can detect what it is that I'm doing, right? What I'm doing is I'm creating something new in you. It's a bubbling spring of joy that spills over into others' lives. That's what I'm doing. I am creating something new in you. What I'm creating is this bubbling spring of joy inside of you that spills over into others' lives. So do not mistake this joy for your own or try to take credit for it in any way. Instead, watch and delight as my spirit flows through you to bless others. Let yourself become a reservoir of the Spirit's fruit. Your part is to live close to me, open to all that I am doing in you. You need to be open to all that I am doing in you, not to the rest of the world. Forget all about that. What's most important is that you see that I am working something in you. My spirit now is flowing through you. You need to be open to what I'm doing and don't try to control the streaming of my spirit through you. Just keep focusing on me as we walk through each day together. Try enjoying my presence, which permeates you with love, joy, and peace. Okay? So through all of this, all of these reports, all of these images, all of these notes, what I am really doing here is I am creating something new in you. You need a bubbling spring of joy inside you. You need that bubbling spring of joy because when you have it, it spills over into others' lives. Let my spirit flow through you to bless others, and let yourself become a reservoir of the Spirit's fruit now. Okay? Then we go back over to here. Where's the big old heart right there? Big old softy. Oh, that's not good. Let's go right there. All right. Where was it? It's a tad bit bigger. I want you to see that image right there nice and clear. And his heart. Okay? Because that's what it's all about is love and your heart. I'm creating something new in your heart. I have loved you with an everlasting love, and before time began, I knew you. For years, you swam around in a sea of meaninglessness. You're sitting there swimming around in the sea of meaningless, searching for love, searching and hoping for hope. You were hoping for hope, too. And all that time, I was pursuing you, aching, just aching to embrace you in my compassionate arms. When the time was right, I revealed myself to you. I lifted you out of that sea of despair, and I set you down on a firm foundation. Didn't I? If I did, it's because I've loved you with an everlasting love. I knew you before time began. And you're sitting there searching for love and for hope, and all that time, I was right there pursuing you, just waiting to embrace you. And then finally, some of you got it through the dots. Some of you just got it. But the time was right, and I did reveal myself to you. When I did, it probably lifted you out of that sea of despair, didn't it? And now it has set you down on a foundation. Because this is true. All that time, I've been pursuing you. Okay? Sometimes when you were still in that darkness, before I revealed myself to you, sometimes you felt naked, you felt exposed to the revealing light of my presence, and then I wrapped this beautiful robe around you, my robe of righteousness. Okay, this feeling that you have now, you've got that, you've been raptured, technically, okay, because there is no word rapture in the book. You are now caught up with me in the clouds. You now have your faith into knowing now. You now wear that robe of righteousness, okay? And I wrapped you in this robe of righteousness. I sang you a love song whose beginning and end are veiled in eternity. I infused meaning into your mind and harmony into your heart. Didn't I? For some of you who have heard the code in the music and have figured it out, you know that I have infused meaning into your harmony, into your heart. Haven't I? I infused meaning into your mind. You have meaning now, don't you? You have purpose. You have meaning. Life is this test of character. The age-old question, what's the meaning of life? Well, you got the answer. It's a test of character. Right? So, join me in singing my song, and together we will draw others out of darkness and into my marvelous light. Oh, dang, what happened with the rest of the notes in that? Where'd they go? Oh, hang on a second. The second half goes with the other lesson. Where's the other lesson? Hang out once. There it is. All right, cool. And then yeah. All right, so together we will draw others out of darkness into my marvelous light. And when you approach me in stillness and in trust, you are strengthened, aren't you? When you approach me, We're doing this show. You're sitting there in the chat room watching, listening. You have approached me. When you approach me in stillness and when you approach me in trust, you are the one who is strengthened. Not me, you are. Huh. See, you need a buffer zone of silence around you in order to focus on things that are unseen. And since I am invisible, you must not let your senses dominate your thinking. The curse of this age is overstimulation of the senses. What's the curse of this age? Overstimulation of your senses. Basically, sensory overload. Mm-hmm. You all suffer from sensory overload. That's why it's important that you be still and trust, because then you're strengthened, right? So this show is that buffer zone of silence around you so you can focus on the things that are now seen. Used to be unseen, now are seen. Okay? The tangible world still reflects my glory to those who have eyes that see and ears that hear. Don't they? The tangible world still reflects my glory, doesn't it? See? It's still reflecting my glory. But it reflects my glory to those who have eyes that see and ears that hear me. So spending time alone with me is the best way to develop seeing eyes and hearing ears now. Who opened up your ears now? Boy, you're seeing things, now you're hearing things too. I've opened up your eyes and your ears. And the goal is to be aware of the unseen things even as you live out your life in the visible world or in the physical world. You got one foot in the spiritual, one in the physical. And the goal is to be aware of this, the unseen things for most people. You see it now. The goal is to be aware as you live out your life in the physical world. Be aware of the spiritual while you live out your life in the physical. Okay? Now, when you're doing that, when you have one foot there and one foot in the other, it's a struggle. It's a battle. You are in spiritual warfare. And that's the path. That's the road that you need to be on. It's the only one that's going to strengthen you. So stay on the path. Stay on the high road with me. And there will be many voices that will clamor for your attention, trying to divert you to another path. How many times have you seen other voices clamoring for your attention, trying to divert you to another path? Oh, pretty much everybody else but me, huh? But I have called you to walk ever so closely with me, soaking in my presence, living in my peace, and finding that strength, that stillness. Okay? When you can do that, when you're soaking in my presence and living in my peace, this is my unique design for you, planned out before the world even began. Okay? This is a unique design for unique you, personalized just for you. This is my unique design for you, planned before the world began. I have called each of my children to a difficult path, distinctly designed for that one. For you, I have called you to this different path that's distinctly designed for you. Convince you that his path is the only right way. And be careful not to extol your path as superior to another's way. What I require of you is to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with me wherever I lead. Oh, we can do that one. Can we, Lord? Can we tack that onto the end of the lesson right there? Yep, we sure can. All right, yeah, we're gonna close with this then. All right. No. I'll just leave that one. It's too important right now. You guys soak up that image as much as you can, because if they ever take this down, you won't be able to see it anymore. So soak that up into your brain. Let that sink down into your heart, into your mind. Let it fill you, all those crevices. And then we were talking about being humble. And in this society, it's just so hard to find anymore. But you need to learn to laugh at yourself more freely. Don't take yourself or your circumstances so seriously. Quit taking yourself so seriously. Relax. I told you to relax and know that I am God with you. And when you desire my will above all else, life becomes much less threatening. So stop trying to monitor my responsibilities, things that are beyond your control. Because there are things that are beyond your control and you're trying to monitor them, but they are my responsibilities. So stop trying to monitor my responsibilities and let me be in control. And remember that things are beyond your control. Find freedom by accepting the boundaries of your domain. The boundaries of your domain now. You've seen the boundaries. Accept them. Because when you accept those boundaries, you find freedom. So find freedom by accepting the boundaries of this domain. Laughter lightens your load and lifts your heart into heavenly places. I cracked a joke in the chat today. You would have think I'd have assassinated somebody, there's no sense of humor anymore. Everybody is so offended, easily offended. You can't crack a joke. It would, oh, I can't believe you said that. And I was like, really, people? Lighten up. Don't take yourself so seriously. You're not all that. Okay? You really aren't. Everybody thinks they're all this and they're all that. They got these huge egos that they run around proclaiming to be this and that. Come on, you're a Hollywood actor. You're not a tough guy. You play a tough guy on TV, but you are just an actor who fakes it. If you guys know what I mean. So, learn to laugh at yourself more freely. Don't take yourself or your circumstances so seriously. Learn to relax. Know that I'm God with you. And when you desire my will above all else, your life becomes less threatening. Stop trying to monitor my responsibilities, the things that are beyond your control. Find the freedom by accepting the boundaries of this world. Laughter lightens your load and lifts your heart into heavenly places. Your laughter rises to heaven and blends with angelic melodies of praise. Did you guys know that? Did you know that your laughter rises to heaven and then blends in with angelic melodies? Wait till you hear these angelical melodies with your laughter in the background. It's awesome. Your laughter rises to heaven and blends with angelic melodies of praise. So just as parents delight in the laughter of their children, so I delight in hearing you, my children, laugh. I rejoice when you trust me enough to enjoy your life lightheartedly. Whoops, what? Uh-oh, I thought this was supposed to be all pain and suffering. No, 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 no. You missed the whole thing. I rejoice when you trust me enough to enjoy your life. That's why you're supposed to trust me, so you can enjoy your life. Quit tripping and trust me. When you trust me and you quit tripping about stuff, you're free to enjoy life now. So, do not miss the joy of my presence by carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Okay, that's what mine are for. Rather than take the weight of the world on your shoulders, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. My yoke is comfortable and pleasant. My burden is light and easily borne. Okay? It can be. So don't miss the joy of my presence. Just my mere presence. When's it coming? When's it going to be here? Should be any day now. It should be coming any time now. Been here for days. When are you guys going to notice? When are you going to believe? When are you going to trust? That's the only time you will find it is when you believe and trust. Oh, and solid evidence doesn't hurt either. This is more for you to soothe your heart. You're getting glimpses of heaven already. You are already seeing your destination. You see, I chose you. I picked you out. You're here. You saw something and you were drawn to this. Now you see me in the clouds here. This is me in the clouds, and you're fascinated by this. You're caught up in this show. You're caught up in my message. You're caught up with these images. You're caught up with me. You're caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you're caught up with it. You're caught up with me in the clouds. That's what you guys technically call rapture, right? Even though that term is not in the Bible. Everybody is so stickler about the Bible, yet they throw in some term that's not in there. And they're all counting on it like it's the... And they're going to miss out. They're so missing out. But you're not. Think about that. Think about that when you think of, oh, how disappointing we don't get to fly up into the air and then hover in the clouds with this majestic dude floating and lights and wind blowing through his hair. No, that's Hollywood, dude. Go read the Bible. It says you will be caught up, not lifted up, not levitated, not... What's wrong with people? Why can't they just read and understand the words? Say caught up. What does that mean? What does caught up mean? Well, here's an idea. Go look it up in the dictionary. It means caught up in the moment, caught up in a song, caught up in a good book. How many of you have been in a book that is just a page turner? You can't put it down. You are so caught up in that book, you can't wait to see what's on the next page. That's being caught up. And if you see me in the clouds and you are caught up with me in the clouds, you have joined me in the air. We are in cyberspace. How are you supposed to describe cyberspace 2,000 years ago? Well, basically, you'd be in the air, but yeah. See, everybody had all these different ideas and plans. The way Hollywood portrayed it. Well, sorry, it's not the way Hollywood portrayed it. And what makes you think that the second time coming back would not come back as a man? How? Well, where does that, everybody think it's just going to come back as a ghost? Is it going to come back? No. It's the Word made flesh. Not cloud, not the Word made flesh. That means he's a human being. Just like you were made in my image. You're a human with a consciousness. Your spirit resides in a meat suit. All right. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. You are raptured. If that's the term you want to use, it's a feeling inside your heart. Your faith has been completed. Now you know. You only know as far as you trust. So the more you trust me, the more you will know, the more peace you will find. Especially in these times. This is why we do this every night. Especially for these times, because you're going to need this foundation to hold on to it with everything you got, because they're going to come at you with everything they got. All right. The spiritual warfare, and the battlefield is your mind. Do not cave into these cowards. They're all criminals and cowards. Do not cave to them. And this again with the leadership, everybody has got this wrong. You do not proclaim to be a leader and go out and run for office. No, you're supposed to be nominated by the people. The people get together and they go, this guy's really smart. He's really honest and I trust him. I say we nominate him. A bunch of people get together and they nominate a person. The person doesn't just step out and go, hey, I'm going to be the nominee. No. A leader is just a normal person that people follow. They see something that person has and they want it too, so they follow that person. That person ends up being a leader by default because of people following them. Stop following the criminal leaders. Do you understand what I'm saying? They only have power because you give it to them, because you follow them. Tell them no. Say no. I'm not going to do what you tell me anymore. You're not my leader. I don't follow you. And therefore they lose their power, and they lose their power over you. Okay? So it's important that you understand proclaiming yourself as a leader does not make one a leader. It's a person who just does what he does, and others are attracted to that and follow. Okay? And as we watch this selection of leaders happen here, just keep that in mind. Okay? You don't have to follow them. Nowhere does it say you have to follow the criminal. You can resist him. You can tell him straight to his face, too. By the way, you're a criminal. And I don't have to do a thing you say because you're a criminal. And if I fund your criminality with my tax dollars, well, that makes me a felon. And I cannot be a felon and give my money to a criminal, because then it makes me a criminal. So I'm going to have to cut your purse strings off there. And that's how you get them. You cut off their money. You cut off their money. They can't send money to Ukraine. They can't send money to all these places if you quit giving it to them. I don't know, just some concepts to toss around in your head there and start thinking about, what is it that really matters? What is it that you're looking for here in life? Are you looking to be a servant to these guys, or are you looking to be free? The freedom of speech was because freedom of religion. The Second Amendment makes sure all the other ones are withheld or stand. So it's important that you guys read your Constitution, understand what's in there. They didn't teach you this stuff in school because they didn't want you to know that it's your civic duty as a citizen of the United States to resist a criminal tyrant in office. Did you know you have the right to resist the criminal in office? Yeah, it's your civic duty. Yet I don't see anybody out there doing their duty. But it's okay. There's a new sheriff in town. He loves doing his civic duty. So, prepare to see some changes. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? And I'm coming like a lion.